All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, and I've got my Aussie mates back here again. It's been a while that us three has linked up, but we have got this going on for today. We've managed some time to put together, which is fantastic. But before we get into everything that we want to talk about and introduce the boys to you guys again, live chat, thank you so much. As always, a lot of you guys have tuned in already. I'm pretty sure a lot will come throughout the stream. Thanks so much for the support all the time. And just check out my, panelists, my mates, their socials in the description, especially their YouTube channel. It's a football thing. The link is there. Go out there right now and subscribe straight away. And as more people come through, I'll make sure that they do that as well. So yeah, thank you for all the support. Hit the smash the like button while you're at it as well. We've already got, as I said, quite a lot of people. Kartik is here, Sudarshan is here, Brent is here. Yup, thank you so much. Everyone's telling me about Germany. Yeah, I know. I'm in the mud with Germany. I get it. I've talked them up about with the England situation, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's what happens. Congratulations to England for doing the job. It was 2 a.m., so I didn't actually get to watch the match, but I saw the highlights later on. And, Kai Havertz played really well. But once again, no sugar for Kai at all with his teammates. But, kudos to England for turning things around. But, my man, RJ, how you doing?
Fantastic to be back, Miz. Thanks for having me again on your channel. Hey, thank you. Awesome to be back with the boys. What a Euro tournament it's been. But more importantly, I'm glad that the silly season's back. We've got a lot of transfers to unpack, and it's just great to talk football. That's why we're here at the end of the day. But thanks for having me back.
Brilliant. Already a few people are saying the gang is back. People realizes, people know that we were here and we run amok here before. So I'm really happy with that. By the way, before I get to Scott, kudos to the Italian team. RJ is a massive Italian supporter, as you can see with the emblem at the back as well, and the flag. So, he's buzzing. Hopefully, now that Germany's out, I don't really have another team, but I would love to see Jorginho lift the trophy. So, RJ, hopefully that happens. Scott, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, g'day, good evening, everyone. Notice how I threw the g'day because this is the Aussie connection, boys. It's always nice to be the solitary Arsenal fan here with you two fellas. I'm sure you'll give me an easy run. So, yeah, pleasure. It's always good fun, hey?
Brilliant. Yeah, man, I definitely love that Aussie touch, man. Maybe we should start the show next time by saying g'day as opposed to all right. Something to think about maybe, yeah, actually. For a special announcement right at the end for all the people that have tuned in. We don't know, but you need to stick around for it. As you guys know, Scott's an Arsenal fan. You can see Thierry Henry. I don't generally praise rival, players, but that's one player I've always watching as growing up. Thierry Henry was just a magical player. So you can see all that behind Scott. And we're going to talk a little bit about Arsenal as well as to what's happening in the transfer market. But before we get into all of that, the first thing that I want to talk about, as you guys can already see in the title description as well, we're going to talk about Haaland and whatnot, give you guys an update about that, have a discussion about that particular situation. Maybe the Lukaku talks are back. I don't know. We'll have a discussion about that. But first of all, I want to go to you, Scott, because you do follow France. You've been following France since you were a little kid. And I want to talk to you about this.
Hey.
The French team, absolute chaos. All these tweets started coming out early Australian time, somewhere around 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., somewhere around that time, late sort of UK time, around 11:30 p.m. over there. And it was total madness. I'm just looking at the particular Twitter page, which goes by the name Get French Football News. At GFFN, and these guys, they cover the French football, the French league and whatnot. And, Adrian Rabiot, unhappy with Pogba's defensive effort. Varane insulted Pavard, unhappy with his defending. Pavard blaming Pogba. Then, Varane having a go at Pavard, and Pavard saying that it's Pogba's fault. Then Varane having a go at Pogba. And then Rabiot's family having a go at Kylian Mbappe's family. What is going on, Scott?
I look at, and I'm going to get to France, but I want to start with a couple of others to prove my point. I look at the Italian team, and of course, being mates with RJ for 20 years, I want them to get knocked out as soon as possible.
Love it.
I look at that team, and you can see that they are a team. They're a unit with one mentality, one method, and everyone's bought into that. You look at Switzerland, Granit Xhaka, not my favourite Arsenal player, bossed it.
Yeah.
You could see in the huddles, you could see from the coach, they were a team. When you look at this France team, and I feel like it's always the way, France have, you know, such an insane amount of talent to pick from, but they put in star players. That doesn't always make a star team. I know RJ always says that as well. There's, you know, there was the Giroud and Mbappe beef before the tournament. Because I actually think, as much as Benzema grew into the tournament and he did look sharp, they won a World Cup with Giroud leading the line. He's played, know this, Giroud's talent, to me, lies in the way that he can bring the best out of other attacking players. To me, it's no coincidence that Giroud didn't play, Mbappe didn't score. Griezmann, I don't think, scored a goal either.
This is so well said, man.
These guys thrive off a player like Giroud, whereas with Benzema, he's more the guy who's going to lead the line and want to be on the end of the chance. Yeah. Giroud wants to create the chance for the others around him. So there was that beef before the tournament. There were beefs during the game. Everyone blaming everyone for defense. They were just a shambles. That Mbappe underwhelmed me. The team underwhelmed me. I thought they would win it because they do seem to find a way to navigate the chaos, but just didn't happen. And I'm hoping that long term this humbling really takes them to the next level because they need to be a unit. And I think Deschamps needs to go. He's not the man.
You know, before I go to RJ, I want to ask you a couple more questions, Scott. It's funny how you've talked about the whole Giroud situation. Let's be honest. When you look at the two players, Giroud and Benzema, I mean, there's, as much as RJ is a Chelsea fan, I'm a Chelsea fan, and we love Giroud. But there's no denying the fact that Benzema is an unbelievable striker, probably a bit, not a bit. He is ahead of Giroud in terms of that extra quality. But Giroud brings a certain certain flavor, something that Benzema can't do. And sometimes I feel like with Benzema, Griezmann, Mbappe, it's a bit too much of the same at times. Someone like Giroud, as you said, has the ability to hold the play and bring in players like Mbappe and Griezmann. For example, Griezmann is someone, I don't think he was involved at all in this tournament that much. Mbappe, with his pace, generally gets involved. Do you think, from that perspective, was there a need to add someone like Benzema? I mean, I know he's a fantastic talent, but deep down, I feel like it has unsettled the group a little bit. And this is, I'm not having a go at Benzema. I am not having a go at Benzema. I'm just saying, from a collective point of view, from Deschamps' point of view as a manager, you should be seeing these sort of things that maybe it's not worth bringing him in because it creates an unbalance.
I think that Deschamps' thinking is that he wants to build a legacy with this French team, and at the core of that legacy is Mbappe. Now, before the tournament, there were all the rumours about the Mbappe-Giroud beef, and I think it put Deschamps in a spot because he has to say, now I want to build my team around Mbappe. He's my star, and he doesn't want to play with this guy who's served me really well. Giroud's towards the back end of his career, so I guess it did make sense to bring Benzema back from the exile, but Mbappe didn't do his part. I don't know if it's a bit of burnout, a bit of inexperience. He did a good job, but I just wonder if Giroud may have been able to unlock more from Mbappe. Because as you said, Benzema grew into the tournament. He played well.
Yeah.
You can't bash him. I
No.
just wonder if Giroud would have opened it up more for Griezmann and Mbappe, who can dominate games by their own merit.
Yeah, no, 100. RJ, I want to now talk to you about something a bit different about this whole French situation, and a little bit of a personal thing that has happened to me in the morning as well. And I want to share that, and hopefully I get some closure out of it as well. RJ, I saw those tweets from that French whatever page, and a lot of them were having a go at Pogba, not defending. A lot of the players were upset with Pogba. I think it was Rabiot, Varane, Pavard, and then obviously there was the whole chaos with the families of Rabiot's families, which the video footages are there. And off the back of that, I basically tweeted, and maybe my tweet wasn't fair. Maybe it is a bit harsh, but I want to see what you boys have to say. And as I said, I'll go to you, RJ. I tweeted that I just feel like sometimes someone like Pogba, I don't know whether I guess the word that I'm looking for is self-centered. I feel like he's more about himself. It's about him. And I just got that feel. And I know maybe the way I'm thinking could be wrong. Even that third goal that he scored against Switzerland. And I know there are other people that celebrate that way. But for me, I don't know why I felt, he's scored and he's just standing there like, the team, like I didn't get a team vibe. Do you know what I mean? I know they won the World Cup. And he was an important player. But the way it sort of capitulated this time against Switzerland, I just felt like there wasn't that team vibe this time. So I just stated that, this Pogba situation, you've seen it in Man United. Other managers have said it, even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's situation, and now in the French team as well. I'm not using this platform right here to bash Pogba. I'm not. When I think about the other side of the coin, he has done other very good stuff as well. Like people have shown me the clip just before they won the World Cup, how he delivered that clip. Scott, you probably know about this, where Pogba delivered that speech. So I just want to hear from you, RJ, because some of the people from Twitter really took a bit of took my tweet quite offensively, personally, started calling me racist. I've never even talked about Mbappe. Talked about Pogba in any of my tweets. I don't really talk about it in my channel. I don't really talk about Pogba as well, because I just don't feel it necessary to bring him up, because we don't really talk about other clubs that much. The first time I do it, people started saying that I've got an agenda. I'm racist towards Pogba. I mean, I just found that whole thing a bit mad.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And you know what it's like in a Twitter sphere. Sometimes it's a great platform in the sense of connecting, but at the same time, it also draws out the not so sensational parts of society. And that's just one of the things we just take on the chin. But that said, look, with Pogba, I even tweeted out after his goal, the issue with someone like him, in my humble opinion, is that the talent has never been in question. It's whether or not he can demonstrate it consistently and against world-class opposition. And some will turn around and say, yeah, well, he's helped win a World Cup and all of these great things. But you're right from the perception that he appears to play for his own individual accolades, which when he's on his day helps to drive a collective win for his teammates. But you look at the other players, like you look at, I use My Heritage, for example. When Italy score, it's almost like another Republic Day. Like, there's just a different euphoria with them. Or even Ukraine, for example, earlier this morning, to take it away from those top tier countries. It's a difficult thing to judge on perception. And I very much have a similar sort of, not issue, but observation with the likes of Ronaldo in terms of how he uses his individual class, which helps the team. But I would like to see a bit more humility.
And just to interject as well, it's not just Pogba, RJ. I feel like Mbappe has that as well. Like him just going, and it's just him. It's like I feel like there's a lot of players in the French team. It's just about them.
Well, it comes back to that point Scott alluded to. That it's one of my sort of self quotes that I like saying is that a star team is greater than a team of stars, and it couldn't be more true in the French case, or the other one. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. with France, you've got a potential Ballon d'Or winner, Kante. You've got Varane. You've got Pogba, Griezmann, who I thought was quite strong. Benzema, had the discussion, why was he picked? And Giroud has more chemistry. But you can understand from a form perspective, 30 goals and 9 assists across the competition. It would look very funny if France were to get knocked out and he wasn't on the bus to begin with, because how can you turn down someone in that kind of club form? So, look, I can understand where Deschamps was stuck between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. But I think, like the French team and the players, he's going to have some home truths and look in the mirror, because some of his tactical decisions, or more broadly, I think it's the lack of a good enough culture that they haven't fostered that's really come back to hurt them. Because Pogba, Mbappe, some of these players, like you said, they look out of sync because their hearts and minds aren't in it together. And when you don't have that togetherness, you see that even the small teams can pull up an upset.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, I want to hear from you. You're the French supporter here. And then this is maybe, as I said, I could be completely wrong here. You know, the person that was going off at me at Twitter for calling me a racist, he was saying, you're assuming stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I am assuming stuff. It's an opinion. It's not based on, it's not facts. What I'm saying is not facts. It is assumptions. It is, every opinion has a certain element of assumptions in it. It's not factual, or else it would be objective then, right? So, as I said, I could be wrong. The way RJ is sort of looking at it, he could be wrong as well. We don't know. But you're a French supporter. I want to hear from you. How did you feel the unity of that team this time around?
No, mate, look, as I said to you at the beginning when I was breaking it down, there wasn't cohesion going into the tournament. There were a lot of sensational players as individuals who came together. And when you have that many sensational players on a team sheet, they've been given that favourites tag. And that tag can weigh heavy as well. So I don't think there was cohesion before it started. The other kind of thoughts around Pogba, it was hard for me to say, having not seen the exchange that you're talking about. But if your kind of notion was that Pogba was showing a little bit of an arrogance, perhaps, is that what you were getting at, Miz, there?
I was more sort of saying, and maybe it might have been a bit reactionary after looking at those tweets from that French page. I was more sort of thinking that it feels like the French team, and then I might have just in the spur of the moment just singled out Pogba. It could have been Mbappe. In fact, I even tweeted about Mbappe yesterday when France lost, saying that whole kerfuffle with Giroud, it made me seem like this kid is just about him. Do you know what I mean? So it was more the whole self-centered sort of attitude from Pogba as opposed to anything else, really. It was that nature of, it's me, it's just me. The world revolves around me. That's what I was trying to get to.
Look, I guess 2 points on that. One, that arrogance and that attitude, that's part of Pogba's kind of branding. So I don't think it's a racist thing. He's benefited from that big time. He's a very marketable guy. He's a character. But when he scored that goal, I actually, when I saw him dancing the way he did, I was furious because I was just thinking in my head. And when he scored it, I thought it was done. I thought game over.
I thought as well. Yeah.
But I also in the back of my head thought, if that doesn't fire the Swiss players up, the reaction, nothing will. And ultimately, not blaming Pogba. And my second point is, sorry, but you two are Chelsea fans. I'm an Arsenal fan. We're big rivals of Manchester United. In what world are we meant to be sitting here giving their players props? But I'm sure United fans back in the day weren't going out of their way to give Lampard kudos or.
Everybody loves him, mate.
Plenty of stick. Look at Arsene Wenger.
Lampard gets a lot of stick, man. He gets a lot of stick.
As rival fans, part of what you do is, you're more open to criticising, not abusing, but criticising your opponents. So I don't have an issue. And Miz, I know you're a stand-up guy, mate. I don't think you have a racist bone or thought in your body or mind. So don't read too much into it, man. If we lived our lives based off what's said on Twitter, we wouldn't achieve very much. So, a great platform in some ways, but I'm not letting it define how I live or who I am.
No, you're right, man. You're right. I started to realize that, the bad side of having a lot of followers is you can have the bad apples here and there. But I just thought that maybe the more people get to know me over time, they'll realize that that's not who I am. I literally did a video last week about racism, how Rudiger gets, singled out by the English media. I, in fact, talked about Pogba as well in that video. I said Pogba gets the nice hair color, but then when Foden gets it, no one talks about Foden. It's all fine. But when Pogba does it, Pogba gets treated differently, and people look at. So it's funny. We are going to move on from this particular discussion. We're going to talk about the next one. But first of all, Phantom of many topics. Thank you so much. It's been a while since I saw you in this channel. Thank you, my man. Good to see you. All Mino Raiolas clients are very self-centered. It's they seem to have that trait. They do seem to have that trait. I cannot lie about that. We've got nearly 50 people logged in right now. First of all, please smash the like button if you're enjoying this particular combination that you will perhaps see a lot of, moving down the track. And, check out the boys and their socials in the description, especially their YouTube channel. It's a football thing. The link is there. Guys, go out there and subscribe straight away. Nearly 50 people. Let's get 50 subscribers there straight away. You get to see the boys on a regular basis in that particular channel. All right. Everyone wants to know about the Haaland update. I will provide that. It's not a huge update. I'm not a journalist. It's just I'm talking about the Haaland update that's been recently. Matt Law has been sort of providing in his podcast, and bits and pieces I've seen from Dean Jones, who's another transfer guru, who's given a piece to Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy. And I wanted to talk about that, but we're going to keep that till the end, finish the show with the Chelsea sort of, flavor to it. But I do want to talk about Arsenal now. So, guys, stay tuned for the whole show. You're going to enjoy this. Scott, I'll go to you, obviously. You're the Arsenal man. I don't want to have a banter session here. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up.
When I saw what you wrote in the description,
keep it going.
You were stitching me up. This was an ambush. I wasn't warned that we were talking about this tonight. It was
That's
all
what we 6-0 all over again. It's 6-0.
That's what we do here. We ambush here, Scott. That's what we do. Look, as I said, I'm sure banter's going to come out one way or another, but I don't want to do that. I actually want to have a proper discussion about it, because I've seen there are certain Arsenal YouTube channels that I really enjoy. One being is Turkish. I really follow some of his content. He's very good to listen to. And obviously, Arja will probably vouch for this. I mean, we've all been seeing the news that's been going around Arsenal. Buendia being stolen by Aston Villa. Aston Villa now chasing after Emile Smith-Rowe. I just want to talk to you that what has happened to this football club? I mean, you guys are getting bullied by Aston Villa. Aston Villa is literally, they're coming back for the second dig now to really get Emile Smith-Rowe from you guys. And Emile Smith-Rowe has not signed a contract extension. So where is your club going at the moment?
I'll tell you honestly, if we wanted Buendia, if he genuinely was one of our top targets, he isn't going to Villa, man. We must have, I'm hoping you can clip this, we've got to have something in the works for him not to be our main man. Now, I actually think the reason we didn't chase him is because Emile Smith-Rowe can start looking like playing in that as that creative attacking spark. Now, rumours coming out this morning from good old Fabrizio that Emile Smith-Rowe's verbally already agreed. It's just a matter of him returning from holiday, signing the thing.
Oh, as he agreed with Arsenal. Agreed with Arsenal.
Yes. Yeah. Not with Villa, miss.
I was going to say, agreed with Villa.
No, it's almost like this little rivalry that's it's been imagined through this transfer window. I'm not fussed. If we wanted to keep Martinez over Leno, we would have kept Martinez and he wouldn't have ended up there. If we wanted Buendia, we would have signed Buendia.
I don't know, Scott. I don't know.
I'm not worried. I just want to shout out one of the comments was the beautiful game. Said he's looking forward. Yeah,
you better be nice to him. You better be nice to him. He's one of my regulars.
Yeah, no. Look, all I'm going to remind him is last time I was on, right, you boys both came out so confident that you were going to do, like, get the business done.
Well, we were in the mud.
We did a double, two.
Wow,
I give you that. I give you that. But hey, talking about the Bulliedia. Yeah, do you get any trophies for that, by the way? And you're talking to the European champions right here, so be careful how you talk to us.
Credit, but hey, RJ will tell you, I tipped Chelsea to become the European champions.
You did
very early on in Thomas Tuchel's reign. RJ can't stitch me up on that one.
No, but it's hard. You got to support us. So.
Hey, I do want to ask you, Scott, because you were saying that if Arsenal did want Buendia, they would have got it. It looked like they didn't want to. I mean, they wanted him, but was it the value? Like I don't know. Like Aston Villa literally stole right at the end of the in the final minutes because it looked like it was going to Arsenal. And let's be honest, Arsenal's looking for a lot of players as well. It's not like because Emil Smith Rowe's there, you're not going to get Buendia, but. There was space for more creative players in the team because, let's be honest, Arsenal lacks that at the moment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We do lack some creativity, but one of the things at the moment that I'm finding really hard, this is probably I've only been really active on football Twitter for a few transfer windows. I wasn't using it all too much over the last few years, but the amount of in the nose and everyone trying to get one up over each other. The sheer volume of transfer rumors, it's just making it really tricky to kind of track where there's smoke and where there's nothing.
Yeah, fair point.
No, it's hard to keep up. I mean, there's rumors about Tammy Abraham this morning that have come out. Now, do you genuinely think there's any smoke to that? Tammy Abraham coming to
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I agree.
I think so. Yeah. Because I'll get RJ to comment on that. RJ, you probably would have seen some reports that Tammy actually favoured Arsenal a while back as well, and he wants to stay in London and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like that could be legitimate. But RJ, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, given the fact that it's a London team, it's close by. He's had affinity to the club many years ago, family support, also less pressure of playing in a mid-tier club. But it all helps with that, of course. Scott, tongue in cheek. No, in all seriousness, though, I think it makes sense on a few levels. I'm not sure as a Chelsea fan how I feel about that. I think a lot of it would come down to how much we could get for him, because I see Tammy as one of those players who, aesthetically, he's a bit difficult to watch at times, and people get that conflated then with his overall effectiveness. But the fact is, he was our top goal scorer last season and the season before that, despite the disproportionate amount of minutes. And yes, there's more to a striker's game than just goals alone. But I tell you what, Arsenal could do a lot worse if he was to come on board. And again, I think from knowing the business, the dealings that Marina Granovskaya does, she'd make sure that we wouldn't be the losers in this equation. So yeah, no, it's an interesting one to watch, that's for sure.
Scott, from an Arsenal fan's point of view, obviously, how much do you guys rate Tammy? I mean, is that because my brother, as I said, my younger brother is an Arsenal fan, right? And he absolutely rates Tammy. He's like, Chelsea's stupid to let someone go like that. Stick with him, build on with him. I wouldn't have mind keeping Tammy as a backup. Obviously, he can't lead the line at the moment. I wouldn't cared one bit if he was a backup, but Thomas Tuchel seems like he doesn't want him at all. But what's your perspective from an Arsenal point of view about Tammy Abraham?
Well, my concern with him would be, where does he play? Obviously up front, but
I was going to say, was that a trick question?
We've got a Aubameyang there. We've got Lacazette there. We've got a young striker in our academy, Balogun, and we just fought really hard to get him to re-sign a new contract, and he has. So I would assume that he'd be moving up the pecking order as well. I think Eddie Nketiah will go. So It would
Is there
just be
questions though, Scott? Like, is there questions though on Aubameyang and Lacazette both? Like, are they both 100% committed? Do you think? Because I know on our podcast we've spoken about Aubameyang. Is he there? Is he not? Sometimes he's in good form. Sometimes he looks like he's worlds away from being concentrated. So, is that something they're sniffing out? Maybe
He had a rough season. I mean, the guy had malaria. Like, it's pretty full on. So, I think he needs a good season ahead. He's been one of Europe's most consistent goal scorers for years. So I'm not writing Aubameyang off. Lacazette, I'm not sure if he'd go, but the problem is anyone going to want to come and sign Aubameyang knowing that we're paying him over 300K a week? Like, who can match that in the current market? So I don't know. Look, I have no objections to signing Tammy. I would love him to come and be part of the squad. I think he'd get plenty of game time. Whether or not Arteta can get the most out of him is we need a whole other show just to discuss that. But
would you, Scott? Would you take a swap with Emerson for Aubameyang? Seems pretty fair.
Come on, RJ.
He's a Champions League winner, Miz. He's a Champions League winner.
Yeah, true. Hey, true.
Pass.
And could be Euros winner too.
You can have William back. You want William back for him?
Oh my days! Is he still at your club, Scott? What's he doing? Tell him to leave.
Restaurant manager. He's the club's restaurant manager.
Tell him to leave. Anyways, thank you so much for the super chat, Phantom of Many Topics. Again, my man, thank you so much for the support. Tammy's new home. His girl wants to stay in London. Look, as I said, I'm not putting that past at all. Like that could actually happen. Declan actually came up with a really good comment here. I want to bring that up. Where's Declared's comment that I saw? He was talking about Martinelli. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, you guys have Martinelli as well. Like that is interesting. If someone like Tammy comes in, possibly RJ could be onto something about Aubameyang, Lacazette.
One thing with Martinelli, though, he has struggled to get game time under Arteta, even when he was fit for the later end of the season. So I don't know if Arteta fully rates Martinelli. For us as a fan base, one of the few things we're united on is that we love that kid and we want him to be playing. He's a talent, and I would not want him to go. If Tammy coming in meant Martinelli goes, no deal, no chance.
Because how can you not rate Martinelli after he scored that 50-yard goal when Kante slipped over? That must have been the highlight of his career.
Well, since then, I don't think he featured much. I think there was an injury and whatnot. And he didn't, Hey, I do want to ask another serious question, though. Some of the rumors recently, I don't even know some of these players. I'm pretty sure, Scott, you probably don't even know Lukaku or Lukaku. Scott, I'm pretty sure you don't know who this player is, right? Like you've never.
No, not a lot. I mean, I think he's at Anderlecht. I know Thierry Henry has done some mentoring with him, and this one seems to have a lot of smoke. So
this one seems like it's going to get done. Like Fabrizio Romano is saying this is going to get done.
Yeah, I feel like it is, this one. And I think we just need a little bit more depth in the middle of the park. From what I've read and seen, he's someone that brings a lot of energy, very athletic, very fit. So I'll take him. We can't be too fussy with no European football, but we do need competition.
See, this is what I want to ask you, and I want to see what RJ has to say as well. Proper serious talk, boys. Honestly, no more bantering and whatnot. I know live chat's going to continue bantering. That's up to them. Kudos to them. Proper question. Obviously, there's that left back as well, Tavares from Benfica. Another one I've not really heard of. What I want to ask you, Scott, and I'll get RJ's view as well after this. Let's be honest. Arsenal used to be one of the top dogs. I mean, top four clubs. We've seen them, under Arsene Wenger, consistently making it. Like you guys made a name out of the whole top four, making the top four and Champions League as well, year in, year out. But you guys haven't played Champions League for a while now. Now, these sort of caliber of players that I personally have not heard. I mean, what is the vision for the club? Like, I know it's very difficult to get high caliber of players at the moment with no European football, coming 8th in the Premier League last season. And teams like Aston Villa, they're going head to head with you guys. Like, you know very well Aston Villa would not dare to take any of Chelsea's players. They would not dare to take any of Man City's players. They would not dare to take, let's say Man United players. But they're now going toe-to-toe with us. I'm like, where is it going, Scotland? Because it feels like the slide is like drastically going down quick.
Yeah, look, we'll have to see, man. The answer really is that we've had a lot of changes. We are most certainly transitioning. It's what happens after that transition. Do we transition back to being one of the big boys, or do we transition into mid-table mediocrity? I don't know. I think, look, to me, I would have got rid of Arteta last season. He wouldn't be our manager this season. However, we've kept him, so there has to be belief in his vision. I know we are looking to sign a lot of younger players now, players that we might have to rely a little bit more on scouting or relationships. So we can't be going and signing, the Haalands of the world. Yeah. So we need to make sure we're identifying talent really well. Sometimes we'll get it right, other times we won't. And we've seen examples of both. So, yeah, look, I don't know where we're going. I don't know.
Scott, is that what it is at the moment? That it is that you guys are trying to find those gems and then slowly build up from there. Maybe get into that top 6 conversation again, then slowly into the top 4. Is that the thing? It's not going to be a meteoric sort of rise back into the top echelons of European football. It's going to be a bit of grind.
Mate, the Premier League is too competitive now. There's too much money in it. It's not like back in the days when, there are a few wealthy clubs and that was it. The Premier League now is very wealthy. Every club's got the money to go and make some good signings. So, we'll see. In terms of the super chat that you've got there, Daniel Eck, it started off really strong. Apparently there have been 2 bids, both knocked back by the Cronkies, unfortunately. But it seems to have gone quiet a little bit. And Patrick Vieira was a big part of that bid. He was one of the legends that was backing it. And now that he's got the Crystal Palace job, I can't see him getting too involved in an Arsenal takeover bid. So, but I've definitely got my Spotify premium going. I hope all you Chelsea fans do your bit. And I agree. No banter on Arsenal till you beat us. We did do the double over you. And we did the double over the European champions. So I don't know where we're going, though, Miz. This season's going to be really defining in the long term. So,
fairs. RJ, what's your thoughts? It feels like, this super chat, by the way, phantom of many topics. Honestly, you're an absolute superstar for the support you're providing this channel. Thank you so much again for the super chat. One, can you all discuss the rumor of the Swedish billionaire who wants to buy Arsenal? Obviously, Scott's touched on that. I think he owns Spotify app. 2, no banter on Arsenal until we beat them. You know what? This has been a bit of an issue last season where, we did win the Champions League and whatnot, but until next season starts and we beat these guys, oh man, I can't wait for that. But yeah, that is for obviously another day, another discussion. But RJ, from someone looking outside, looking into the whole Arsenal situation, it just looks very, very crazy. And we've seen clubs like Leeds deteriorate, do you know what I mean? And then they disappear. I'm not saying it's going to happen to Arsenal, but do you sometimes get that feeling that there are other teams in the Premier League that's getting stronger and stronger, got high caliber managers? Can Arsenal actually, stand up to all of that if you're not making the right sort of transfer business?
Yeah, that's a good point. And look, we obviously give each other a lot of stick and we try to not be too banter with each other, but I'm part serious and part kidding when we start referring to Arsenal did do the double over the European champions, and that's something we're starting to celebrate. That's beneath a club like Arsenal generally because they don't care about that. The Arsenal we grew up with won stuff. They were relevant. At the moment, they're not relevant. They're a club that, like Liverpool, before they had Klopp, they basically had a feature on the History Channel because that's what they're clinging on to. And Arsenal are in this transition state, and I'm not taking the mick here because I've said to Scott many times online and offline, we all know Arsenal can play ball. And when they get it right on the day, like they've done against us, they're a formidable outfit. What do they struggle with? Their young talent. The young talent that they buy, like every young piece of talent, bar a few, they struggle with consistency. The Premier League is the most difficult league in the world in terms of its volume, its scheduling. The gap in quality is not as far compared to some other leagues. And I think that from Arsenal's perspective, while they're very far away where they feel like they should belong, at the same time, if they can land a couple of these low-key signings and start to turn around some of their more inconsistent performances, they slowly start to drag themselves back into relevance. But let's be crystal clear about this. The competition above them, the top 6, top 7, top 8 even, it's not going to be a given. It's not a given. No. So they're in a very difficult transition state at the moment, and who knows how long it's going to take for them to get back into that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And if by any chance, Scott, one of these particular transfers do work out for you guys, you'll watch the big dog circling around on that player and trying to, sneak that player from your hand. So, yeah, it's interesting times. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Haaland situation now. You guys have been waiting for it. We've got 80 people logged in live. This is fantastic. The Aussie boys are back again. And as I said, we've got a special announcement right at the end. So do stick around for it. You're going to love this announcement. But before we do all of that, let's get the likes to at least 80 likes, guys. Help the channel out and helps, basically the likes will expose the video to more fans out there. So please smash the like button. If you're here for the first time as well, subscribe. And the boys, their channel, It's a Football Thing YouTube channel. It's in the description. I want 80 subscribers there right now. So guys, please do that. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about the Haaland situation. RJ, I got to go to you. You're my Chelsea man. And then obviously I'll get Scott's view on the whole Haaland situation. I was reading Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy's newsletter the other day, where they got a piece from Dean Jones, who's another transfer guru out there. And this is now the second time I've heard from Dean. And he's saying that it's more the Lukaku news, and also Matt Law. He's also drumming the beat around the more Lukaku situations. They're both consistent in saying that don't forget about the Lukaku situation. Yes, Haaland is there, but nothing's really happened with the Haaland situation. The money factor is insane. That's what they're saying. It's literally double. That's what Dortmund wants, because next season the buyout clause is, I think, 75 million. But what Dortmund wants from us, or from anyone, in order to take Haaland away from them, is approximately 150 million. Do you know what I mean? They're on the verge of losing Sancho. They've got to run a football club at the end of the day. And literally, if they lose all of this, they don't have enough time to purchase replacements straight away. And generally, Dortmund, they like to do the replacements. I feel like they do thorough research and they get another gem in. They don't want to rush into someone. Do you know what I mean? Like there's talks about that Swedish guy, Alexander Isak, going back to Dortmund or whatnot, but they don't just rush into that kind of thing. They really take their time. So what's your thought? Because it feels like it will take something mammoth to break this situation and get Haaland. Look, I would love Haaland. Everyone would love Haaland. Chelsea fan base will go mad for Haaland. But I'm starting to think this is becoming a bit unrealistic. And some of the journalists are saying that, yeah, the interest is there, but Lukaku is more realistic one, because Inter's probably looking to sell more players. I mean, what's your thoughts about the whole situation?
Yeah, firstly, big shout out to Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy. I think they do some great work. I know you've had them on your channel many times, and I think whatever they report, it's generally very credible, and the insights that they provide around the challenges and difficulties in particular with this one here, as you've highlighted, there's a lot of moving parts. It's not just a straight transaction of we spend a lot of money, we bring him in. Yes, that's part of it. But from Dortmund's perspective, they're about to lose a star player in Jadon Sancho. You've got to run your football club. You've got to make sure you maintain Champions League football to continue generating that churn of profit.
Yeah.
So if they lose two superstars, will they have enough time? And will they have enough money, or not? They'll have plenty of money, but will they want to reinvest all of it to get equal replacements or similarly equivalent replacements? I dare say they probably don't have an appetite to lose two megastars in the same window. And I think that's why they've put that very unattractive $150 million price tag. But let me take you back to last transfer window where we snapped up Kai Havertz. Many of you say now we've paid overs for him at the time, but that's because Chelsea sensed an opportunity to use the COVID situation while others were struggling. This is very much the last window where we suspect that we could invest and get Haaland before the likes of Real Madrid, etc., can catch up financially and take him at half the price. So do you run the risk of losing potentially a world-class talent for the next 5 to 7 years because you're a bit concerned that he was too expensive now? Look, for me personally, I think that probably get him because of more so because of Dortmund's resistance, but also there's a trade-off in terms of, say, if we spend 100 million on Lukaku, which I know Lukaku, being an Inter fan as well, I don't want him to go, but if he was to go, Chelsea's the right home for him. If at the start of the window, he was very smart and said, I'm going to stay at Inter Milan. Conveniently, this was right before the Euros started. So this is very smart for him to focus squarely on the Euros and not be distracted by transfer speculation. Just because he said he's not going anywhere, that doesn't mean anything. He's just being politically correct, and I applaud him for it because his Euro form has been very good. I wouldn't be surprised if we are making some noise behind the scenes because we know Inter Milan's in a difficult spot financially, but equally they've lost or about to lose Hakimi. So will they want to equally lose Lukaku at the same time? Overall, I think we've got a stronger chance of landing a Lukaku, not because of we can't afford Haaland, but I think it's the fact that we can get an established star like Lukaku, plus use the difference to fund another centre-back or a centre midfield, which I know is an equally priority area for us.
No, you're absolutely right, man. Scott, I'll get your thoughts from someone who's outside of the club looking in. Lukaku thing, I think RJ said that he's going to be, let's say, arguments like 100 million. I think I saw some of the journalists quoting he's actually going to be somewhere around 68, 69 million because it's not his age and it's not like he's old, but he is 28, 29. It is still the prime age for a striker. I think his contract as well with Inter, so somewhere around 68 to 69 million pounds or euros, something like that. And also the fact that Inter needs to, as RJ said, with Hakimi deal, they get a lot of money, but we don't know exactly where their finances are. Some journalists are saying that they do need to sell a couple of more players to balance things out in their books. And perhaps this looks a little bit more easier to negotiate as opposed to a mammoth deal like the Dortmund one. Once again, phantom of many topics. Thank you so much for the super chat. Lukaku less complicated than Haaland, wages, Minarella. What's your thoughts on that, Scott?
Look, you add either of those guys into your team, and you're far more terrifying. I would prefer you don't sign any, to be blunt. But if I had to take a guess, I would say you've got a better chance of Lukaku because I feel like Inter were hit a lot harder by COVID than Dortmund were. And I feel like their finances, that they're going to be more needy in terms of bringing in the cash. So if they can only let two parts of their team go in Hakimi and Lukaku and those fees stabilise the club, I think they're more likely to let two big players go than Dortmund with Sancho and Haaland. I just have this feeling that Haaland has one more season at Dortmund before someone comes knocking. But I wouldn't be complaining over Lukaku, to be honest.
Yeah, and Lukaku's been in fantastic form in the Euros as well with Belgium. He looks like such a matured forward now, RJ. Like he looks like he's so in control of his movement. That whole first touch that was being a meme, and he's a kind of player, RJ. Like he's actually come out and said it bothers him when people don't appreciate him. Like it bothers him that people don't sometimes recognize that he is improving, that he is becoming a monster. You follow Inter Milan, RJ, so you know how much of an impact this player's had for Inter Milan. someone who hasn't won the Serie A for like 10 years or something like that, because it's been all Juventus. I mean, as Scott said, it's not a bad deal for us to get Lukaku, but the thing is... go on.
I was just going to say, I think the difference between Lukaku and Haaland is not so much necessarily their comparable quality at this stage. It's more about the time horizons. Lukaku is a better fit in the sense of we have someone who's a strong player now. And I think, this quote here solves it. Lukaku's 28 and solves the stroke over a couple of years, whereas Haaland is a more long-term. But equally, he only solves the problem if we are working under the assumption that he's going to transition seamlessly straight away. That's a lot of expectation to place on someone and just expect them to click like that, especially for the champions of Europe.
And also, RJ, if only Haaland thinks that Chelsea is the final destination, that it's not a stepping stone again. Do you know what I mean?
And that's my concern, is the fact that I think Lukaku's a bit more mature. He's been in the Premier League. He's got unfinished business. He's refined his game. He will give us a good 3-4 years. Whereas I think Haaland could give us that theoretically, but would his head be swayed if Real Madrid or some other big club came knocking on the door and he used us as a stepping stone? Some would say, who cares as long as he gets the job done? That's right.
To add on that, I think something that's really helped Lukaku's game, and this isn't me wanting to shout out an Arsenal player, he's had a lot of mentoring with Thierry Henry. In that Belgium setup, Thierry Henry's been involved with them for a number of years. You still see when he scores and celebrates, sometimes there's that link.
He goes and celebrates with he goes towards Henry at times. Do you know what I mean?
What better mentor? I actually think, like RJ said, the Premier League experience that Lukaku has is something that I wouldn't take for granted either. But what a brilliant problem for your club to have. Do we go Haaland? Do we go Lukaku? And we're talking about Tammy Abraham. So, not nice problems.
Tammy Abraham's European champion, my man. Tammy Abraham's European champion.
Facts are facts.
Better than Lukaku, right?
But hey, it's so true. I mean, it's such a good sort of situation to be either or. I mean, RJ, let's wrap up this whole sort of Haaland or Lukaku situation. Look, I think we can all agree. A lot of the people in the live chat. First of all, 100 people logged in right now. Smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to at least 100 likes, please. Let's do that. Helps the channel out a lot. Helps the video out. And as I said, we are on the road to 6,000 subscribers. So if you're here for the first time, subscribe. And my boys, they're here. Their YouTube channel, it's a football thing. Please check out the link in the description. Hit it, 100 of you guys. That's 100 subscribers. Please, let's get the job done straight away, guys. Let's do that. RJ, I mean, continuing the conversation, it is a good situation. Lukaku, Haaland, it's literally the age factor, but then nothing is for granted, right, RJ? Like as we've said, Haaland, yes, young, but we don't know whether he's going to stay with us for years and years. I feel like with Lukaku, he's a bit older, but I feel like this would be his final destination. I don't think he'd look to go from anywhere else after Chelsea. We could possibly get he's 28, 29, so maybe 3 good seasons out of him at least, and then after that, he could still be a backup until we get someone else in. I mean, from your perspective, do you want Chelsea to break the bank and get Haaland, or do you think this is so complicated? We definitely do need a striker for next season to compete in the Premier League. If we don't get Haaland, we need to act quick so that we can get someone like Lukaku, because let's be honest, RJ, I don't know if I'm very comfortable to have Timo Werner, even Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has been fantastic, but I just don't know if I can bank Kai Havertz to score 20+ Premier League goals along with Timo Werner to help us challenge for the title. How do you feel about the whole situation at the moment?
Well, I suppose I like to look at the this is a good comment from Declared, and this probably talks to the whole Chelsea not being the stepping stone anymore. And look, and to a large degree, I do agree with that. I don't think that we would be seen as the tier 2 teams, but you just don't know with some of these players and their managers and continuously trying to push bigger moves. And I just don't know how much stability he would bring. But at the same time, you can't deny his potential and ability so far. But for me personally, I like to look at the whole equation, and I think that we're trying to fight on all fronts. We're trying to win Champions League, trying to win Premier League, we're trying to win it all. We're Chelsea, we demand success on all fronts. It's just where we're trying to get to again. I think the thing is, if we invest all of our eggs in the Haaland basket, does it necessarily get us the better chance of success across all fronts? What it will do, you'd think, conceivably, is it improves our goal-scoring form, which in turn should help us win more games. I agree. However, I think it's also naive to think that we are 100% optimized across the board. I think that to win a 38-game season, to win the 20-odd games of Champions League, you need depth, and you need not just depth, you need quality depth. And I'm looking at that midfield. I'm loving Kante. I'm loving what Jorginho's doing at the moment. He's a specialist player. Kovacic, again, he's one of those mysterious players who's got so much quality, but can get some refinements. Billy Gilmore is basically on loan to Norwich now, as we know. To me, I'm an ex-midfield player. I think that that's the engine of the team, and I think if we don't supplement and reinforce that area, that's where I think I'm a little bit concerned. I do trust our centre-backs at the moment. We've also got to look at a backup keeper because of the African Cup of Nations. So if putting all of our eggs in the Haaland basket means we can't get anybody else, I'm not necessarily sure I think that's going to help us increase our chances of success across all fronts.
Yeah, no, that's very, very well said. That's why,
thanks, Scott.
You know, we're in that whole Tchouaméni situation. I had the conversation with the guys yesterday. I was here doing the stream, so the live chat would have known. Tchouaméni, I think, RJ, I think we're going to get Tchouaméni. I think there's some serious conversation. Billy Gilmore going on a loan. It just makes sense that we are going to look into that. And then there was talks about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Apparently someone...
and Bakayoko too, maybe as well. Weird, out of nowhere.
Bakayoko is someone who's gonna get a look into the preseason. But a lot of the athletic articles and also other journalists are saying Thomas Tuchel actually really fancies Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek actually has a very good chance to make it this time around. Whether he gets a lot of game time, I don't know. So you're right, RJ. It has to be a holistic view. Yes. Fixing up front with a Haaland, fantastic. That solves a lot of the issues. But as you said, 38 games in the Premier League, X amount of games in the Champions League, Club World Cup, Domestic Cup. Yeah. The lot, you do need coverage everywhere nicely, so that and good coverage, as you said. So, you know, I don't know how. I suppose how likely it is to get a deal done of Haaland's stature. Maybe that's why there's still rumors around the Lukaku situation. But as I said, I think the whole fan base would love Haaland. Declare, thank you so much for this super chat right here. Once again, another Aussie mate of ours, always helping out the channel. Thank you heaps for that. Chelsea leading the team rebuild race. Our team's average age peak level is in 4 years. Haaland would be leaving the best team, no stepping stone. Yeah, true. I cannot deny that, man. I mean, our age, as you said, the average age is so young. These guys, you can only imagine that they're going to get better and better. And in 2-3 years' time, that's when they slowly will start hitting their peak age and then really going to start dominating all of Europe. So, yeah, it makes sense that Haaland wouldn't be leaving, using Chelsea as a stepping stone. He'd be leaving one of the super clubs in Europe. Hopefully, that's the way it goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about everything that we've wanted to talk, but we have a special announcement. We've got over 100 people logged in, so this is perfect because I want each and every one of you, over 100 people, wanting to listen to this, and I'll get the boys to say what they have to say as well. But yeah, we are looking to, we're not going to give out the whole name and whatnot, but we are looking to start, looks like you guys like this chemistry because we tried this chemistry out maybe a couple of months ago and you guys enjoyed it back then as well. And you guys are enjoying it once more again. So yeah, just before we start the next season, officially, I think it starts in the second week of August or somewhere around the mid-August, we are going to start a show, a weekly show, us three, on this particular channel, powered by obviously the boys and their YouTube channel as well. But it will be held here in a live stream, and we will talk about basically, the most topical sort of conversations in football during that particular week. And it could be any club. The big headline news we're going to be discussing here with you guys. And the aim of the game is to try and every now and then bring someone really, really big in terms of guests. Not on an always sort of situation, because I think you guys enjoy us three more than anything as well. So every now and then we will add that extra little flavor to bring into the channel. Maybe players, maybe, I don't know, celebrities, maybe presenters, pundits, whatnot, other YouTube channel makers, content makers. So, do keep your eyes open for that, because a whole lot of works are happening. I'll go to you, Scott, first up. What do you have to say about the new sort of beginnings?
Well, I'm looking forward to it, boys. We have a good time when we're together, even though you banter me most of it. But I'm looking forward to us guys getting together and maybe spending time bantering your Liverpools of the world, or your Manchester Uniteds, or your managerless Tottenham Hotspur, even though they're close. So looking forward to teaming up, boys. And I know we've done a lot of groundwork behind the scenes on this, so
yeah.
It's getting closer, and I know it's just going to be quality.
Brilliant. RJ, what do you got to say about the new weekly show that's just around the corner? I'm pretty sure the live chat's going to love it, man. On a non-season sort of day, no European football on, we've literally got the highest we've seen, 110 people here. So I'm excited, man. RJ, how you feeling?
Well, what can I say? Working with you two gentlemen, we love talking football. We want to focus on the big, hard-hitting items of the week, as you say. Loving that chemistry. I'm loving the stuff we're seeing in the live chat. We've been putting a lot of energy behind the scenes to get this taking off the ground, and I'm really excited to kick it off and just really unpack it all, because it's going to be lots of fun. So can't wait.
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's been a pleasure. We're going to wrap things up here. Hope you guys have enjoyed the conversations we've had. Please leave your comments once the stream's over on the things that we've talked about. We've talked about the French team and their implosion. We've talked about, the Arsenal situation, their transfer market and whatnot. We talked about the Haaland and Lukaku. So leave your comments below. And as you guys are going, please, guys, smash the like button before you guys leave. And, if you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification as well to stay in touch with all my content. We've got Scott back. Scott just, I think, internet issues. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, take care and see you around.